When I moved to Budapest, I had this little experiment that one morning I went to the grocery store in my pajamas because I wanted to test if people will look at me or not. And they didn't really care. So that was a very liberating experience for me, that I can just be myself and people will mind their own business, and I really enjoyed it. I grew up in the countryside in a very small town in the east of Hungary, which is the poorer part of Hungary. And at 19 I moved to the capital city. And what was a very defining element of me growing up there is the level of oppression just, in the fabric of culture. Everybody who was a bit different from the average or from the norm got either ridiculed or treated as an outcast, or you were just not supposed to do that. Hungarians have very pragmatic attitudes in a lot of areas. And I think this goes to a lot of human rights questions as well. 54% of Hungarians actually support marriage equality, which is a huge number. But of course, marriage equality is banned by constitution, so it's not an easy thing to achieve. But the way Hungarian politics work and the way Viktor Orbán has built this regime is not steering society in this path. And how it works, and this is kind of amazing, and the Hungarian government is touring all over the promoting their ways, they're not hiding it, is that the oligarchs purchase a lot of media outlets. That's a key stone in how you build this hybrid, semi-autocratic regime. And these media channels plus the public television and public radio function as propaganda machines. Nobody has received a fine based on the anti-LGBTQ propaganda law. No one's been prosecuted. And in my interpretation, that's part of the plan. Because if you have a court case, you can take it through the justice system, and at the end of that, you can take it to the Constitutional Court, or maybe the European Court of Human Rights, or the European Court of Justice. And then you could get the whole law repealed, right? So the fact that there are no court cases based on this law, it creates a much harder advocacy situation for human rights defenders. Budapest Pride is one of the largest LGBTQ organizations in Hungary, and we have a few focal points. We mobilize 400 volunteers every year. It's pretty magical. And the thought behind it is that we want to provide a safe place for LGBTQ people, or even LGBTQ youth or adolescents, to meet other LGBTQ people, to have new friends, to maybe have somebody to come out to, maybe for the first time in your life, and to experience that you're never alone and you can find people who will not hurt you and who you can trust. So when I was a teenager, and I think it, maybe a lot of people can resonate with this, I was so angry at these injustices that I was seeing. But I didn't have any tools to act on it, so, I was screaming at my parents, I was screaming at my teachers, I was arguing with anybody, not in a very constructive way, said that because I didn't know how. And then I moved to Budapest for university, and I just started volunteering at different places because I wanted to meet new people and have new friends. And Budapest Pride just advertised volunteer positions, and I was oh, I didn't even think about it. Oh yeah, sure, I will go. And that, really changed my life, because now I had tools to channel this anger towards productive things. And I realized that if I'm furious about these injustices, I can organize a workshop or a panel about it, or I can do a protest, of course not alone, but with my team, or we can do an online campaign, we can do a petition, we can do a multitude of things. And that a bit transformed me from this angry teenager to a very active activist who uses this passion to change things instead of yelling at your teachers. We feel hopeless a lot. And I think that it is a very determined strategy from the governing party to to diminish and tire out and burn out human rights defenders in general. And another factor that contributes to the attack on human rights defenders is the lack of funding. For example, we are not able to access those EU funds that are distributed by the state. It is very hard to keep up and to do this very important human rights defender work when your main problem is, can I pay my bills in my office? How oppressive and anti-democratic some things are in Hungary, if you don't have ways to channel this frustration, I think it has a really detrimental effect on you.